welcome to Booth Talk. I'm Brennan, and I'm here with Jacob Horne.
Hello.
Jacob, we're talking about your film Neutrals, which we got right here. A little poster. I fucking love Neutrals.
Thank you.
I think it might be the best short film I've seen since we've started doing this, since you and I, all of us started doing short films. It flows perfectly. It feels like its own little world. All the actors, all the characters are perfect. The story just goes beat by beat by beat, and it just, I don't know how to put it. It feels like a long time, but not that it drags at all. Like it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Like it's a deep story.
I know what you mean. This was kind of a concept around one of the things with approaching it is we wanted it to feel like you had watched a 2-hour movie in 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Like that was kind of like the approach of it. Because, sometimes you'll get out of a 2-hour-long movie and say, wow, that felt like 15 minutes. So it was almost like, okay, how can we try to encapsulate that? And basically it just came down to like, keep going. Each scene, like lots of scenes, but they're not very long.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you remember during filming, we didn't film too long.
No, they were.
Those days.
I think they felt like quick days. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we're also shooting at night, so that kind of sped that up too.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean, when we started, I remember when you started working on this, when you first came in with the idea, it seemed like you had the idea, and then I didn't see you for a minute, and then film was done. Although I saw you on the film, of course.
Yeah. What happened is you were actually very important in making me get the first draft done because, let me see, I have it written here somewhere. I finished the first draft on June 21st, and you were the one who made me finish it that day.
Oh, did I?
Because we were having those meetings at MPI on Friday, it was one of those Fridays. And the night before I had started writing it, and I told you, I was like, Brennan, I got this short film, I don't know, it's kind of clicking, and then you were like, you should stay at MPI and write it. You were like, you should not leave until you finish it. And then I said, okay. And then I did. And so you made me finish that first draft on June 21st.
Damn, I feel honored. I feel like, I'm glad I helped get that movie made.
You kicked my ass. You said do it.
I feel like someone's got to kick my ass once in a while, though. I feel like I'm never make it.
I'll take you out in the parking lot after, kick your ass.
Perfect.
Show you that.
Now, I'll tell you, his name, he played Chris, and Daniel is his name. He was, I think, fantastic. He's got, I don't know, I felt like he's got a very expressive face. Mm-hmm. So I felt like he was like the comic relief of the movie, but also Josh is straight man. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He also, they shared their moments. Like I said, I really enjoyed the film.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because one thing that I noticed, there's a moment in particular, and it happens like shortly after this moment on the poster where Daniel, it's like a background thing. But instead of just running away, he like trips and falls and tumbles and gets up and then runs away. But he's like out of focus in the background and does it. And that's just Daniel. That's what he would kind of do. You tell him you're scared and you run away. He like does a somersault and flips and then starts running. I think that falls into a lot of what he did. And yeah, Josh really played against that well.
And then Ryan, of course, was fantastic playing Wes. Real intimidating. Had that. He really carried himself well. Mm-hmm. When he walked in the room, you knew that he was the antagonist. You knew that he was the baddest motherfucker in the room. Mm. Excuse my language.
Yeah, it's funny because Ryan was like that in real life where he'd walk in the room and you'd immediately realize his presence. But it wasn't because he was the baddest motherfucker in the room. It was because he was like oddly the kindest and smartest guy in the room. Yeah. And so it's real funny to see him in the movie, and I think that's why he has a lot of fun with it too. Yeah, because it's not him; it's like all the repressed anger that maybe his youth had.
Yeah, he was able to explore the character a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's he did a great job in the movie.
How many days did we film?
We filmed for 9 days.
9 days
over the course of the first day was on September 11th, and the first shot we shot was the first shot of the movie, ironically, and then the final day was October 12th, day 9, and that was just a reshoot day. So you may not have been there.
Lisa, was that at...
That was during the finale.
Was that in the field?
It was in the harbors, yeah.
I might have been. I'm not sure.
You might have been. But,
I might have been.
That was a real skeleton crew day because it's really only like... On that day, we only got like 5 or 6 shots, and they're at the ending. It's because we had gotten like all the ending stuff before, and then Josh and I kind of edited it together, and we were like, it works. You can tell what happens. You can see... Everything makes sense, but we were like, there's just a few little moments, and they're tiny stuff, like a close-up of Josh laying on the ground. Like, it's stuff where we went out there, like made him lay on the ground, and then like stood over them with a camera, and then said, "Okay, lay over here."
Perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, it helped.
Well, I mean, it matters. You know, I mean, it's just tiny things, but it's good that you can go out and get that, because sometimes you go and edit and you go, shit.
Yeah, well, that was the first.
We have to
time.
redo that. We have to redo this storyline here.
That was that was my first time ever doing reshoots, and it helps. You know, it really does. There's some John Carpenter said. He goes, you know, when you're doing it, you feel like an asshole, like, we've already been here.
Yeah.
But like once you see it, you're like, oh,
thank God we did this.
Thank God we did.
That's
this.
kind of like the I guess the rehearsal or the or the pre, I guess, what do you even call it?
Like a
pre-setup
pre-setup
day. You know,
day,
where you go in there, you get everything, scout out every shot and get all the lighting and all the cameras in place. You know, while you're doing it, of course, you're just like, I hate this. And then the next day you come in, you're like, wow, thank God we came in yesterday. Yeah. This is just smooth sailing from here on out.
No, exactly. It's the exact same principle. It's like the one day of shooting that doesn't cause the editor a headache.
Yeah.
You know, it actually relieves them finally.
Yeah, and the days where you also fill out all the reports properly.
Yeah. No, those help too.
No, they do.
Yeah. None were used on neutrals though.
No. Well, Josh was there. Josh was.
Yeah, it's weird that Josh is like one of the leads, and he did edit the movie.
I don't think I've never really seen many editor actors.
There aren't that many, ironically.
He's the first. What films would you say inspired this one? Inspired neutrals?
You know, in my binder here, I actually have. This was what I used during the filming.
Is that your director's notebook?
Yeah, this is the director's notebook that they teach you how to make at Motion Picture Institute.
Copyright.
Of Troy, Michigan, copyright. But I have it listed in here, some of the film inspirations. And then, you know, this movie, because it was a punk rock and roll movie, the inspirations did extend beyond movies because it did have, like, that extra element we would look at a lot of.
Well, I mean, sometimes, I get inspiration from a song.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it really comes from anything.
There were a lot of instances of that. I guess, real quick, this is just a bit of the visual notebook we had going. Ooh. So, like, again, to talk about, that's Henry Rollins, who was in Black Flag, a big punk guy, and he inspired Wes a lot.
Okay.
Just kind of that look and that. And then, you know, that's from Repo Man. Repo Man was a big influence on that. It's a 1984 punk movie. Like, it's...
So it was kind of like would you say it was the vibe, or would you say it was like the time period or the look maybe?
A lot of the look came from Repo Man. A lot of the vibe came from Repo Man. A lot of the attitude came from Repo Man, I would say, definitely, because Repo Man has this interesting, like, I guess a good way to describe it is in Repo Man, all the brands aren't brands. Like, your Coca-Cola right now would just be a white logo that says, like, pop. You know, so that's kind of the idea.
Kind of like the Washington football team.
Yeah, exactly. Which, oh my God, this is completely unrelated, but I was watching, football was on at work, and it was on, and who was it? Terry Bradshaw was talking about the Washington football team, and he accidentally said the old name, and I never saw, this man was tripping for like the next like minute and a half. Like, he could not talk.
Oh, I feel bad.
Because everyone in the studio saw him. But
everyone you heard just like,
you heard like a
gasp, and even the people even the people in the crew who have to remain silent were like, Terry. See, I feel bad though, because Terry Bradshaw, he seems like a really nice guy.
Well, and you got to think he's been around for forever.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
That was the name of the team for him for like 35, 40 years.
Yeah, he played in the 70s, so you got to imagine that if he was in the 70s, he was in his 20s, so he grew up watching the 60s and the 50s, you know. So he definitely, that name is probably seared into his brain. It just almost, naturally comes out when you say Washington, but I won't say it,
But that was our little bit of sports talk for the day. Now we have that. I cannot find the actual list, but Repo Man was honestly the name.
Can we show these what are these called again? Storyboards?
Oh yeah.
These are, besides the fact that you know what's happening, they're beautiful. I don't know if anyone's ever seen my storyboards, but nothing. You can't even tell like what a couch is.
I mean,
this is the movie right here. This is the movie. This looks perfect. Have you ever thought about becoming just an artist?
When I was younger, I kind of wanted, like, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to do movies, but there would kind of be this period where I'd flip between, like, movies and comic books, and, like, I'd want to be a comic book artist, and the drawings would basically look like this. That's kind of the problem. I hit this level of drawing.
Look, I don't know how you got that far.
I hit this level of drawing at, like, 10, and then stopped, and then stunted. So I was like, okay. Not saying that I was like, oh, I can't do that, so might as well go to movies, because movies were always the main. But that was kind of another.
What made you decide movies? What drew you towards the movies, just in general?
In general, I mean, I think no matter what, I'm just very drawn to the visual medium. Just visuals in general is just something I really take to. And I notice in film, like movies, that's where they're given most of their chance to flex.
Yeah.
Because in TV, it's mainly about the writers and the actors.
Yeah.
And on video games, it's more about like the experience. There can be good visuals within it, but it's more of a experiential thing. With movies, it really does kind of come down to that visual communication.
Yeah.
And like we must tell this story in hour and a half to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Again, even the longest movies are still relatively short when compared to a full-length TV show, or even a season.
Or even books, like how they take the Harry Potter books and they got to just cram those and and do all that.
Exactly. So,
what I always found interesting about, I guess, film and TV was that the camera, it's really like the audience's eyes. It's their point of view, their frame of reference. They don't see anything on the outside. They don't see anything around or behind it, I always found that interesting, especially, when you see them, how they call it movie magic, how you can, fake things. And I think they did a lot of that in the silent films.
Oh, yeah.
When they did a lot of their stunts and everything.
Yeah, a lot of those
like
were just
the forced
trickery.
Perspective and everything. That's really, I just find that very fascinating.
It is. It's. I think there's like a Scorsese quote where he does say like, all that matters is what's in the frame.
Yeah.
That's very true because it's ridiculous. You'll look at that frame and it's like beautiful. You're in a living room, da-da-da. And then if you inch it one way, any way, you see like things pointing in, people. It's ridiculous. It's one giant illusion.
No, it's really interesting. Kind of, like I said, sometimes that's why when it comes to movies I like, I don't like to do any research on them. I don't want to know about behind the scenes. I don't want to know about problems on set. To me, it's just, no. This is a real world. I just want to stay in this. I want to experience this real world. I don't want to be watching this like, Brad Pitt is really pissed off right now. Actually, we don't know this, but he's really mad right now. He doesn't want to be there today.
Yeah, he hates this movie. He didn't mean to sign on to it.
Yeah, no, this was just...
He was tricked into it by Matthew McConaughey.
He owed money on his house, and he just, he didn't know what to do. The Lincoln commercial was booked. There was,
he didn't realize it'd take off. He didn't realize he'd have to keep doing them.
He's like, I'm not going to drive a car around for. I'm Brad Pitt. Who would do that? I'm in movies. I can get any TV show I want. And Matthew McConaughey's like, all right. I just drive around. All right.
Brought him back to the top. The Lincoln commercials.
Those are. Did I have? No, I didn't have. No, I had a Buick. I had a Buick. That's not a Lincoln at all. It's better than a Lincoln. Well, not mine. Mine wasn't better than a Lincoln. Mine was.
Are we sponsored by Buick?
We could be.
Oh.
We could be.
Buick.
Who knows?
Hit us up.
Buick does not want to sponsor us that I know of. We haven't contacted them. Rhonda, have you reached out to Buick? Not yet. But we will reach out to Buick.
Should I just talk about some of the festivals?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think about aliens?
As in...
What do you think about them?
Aliens, like actual aliens.
I'm
not
talking
about a film franchise is what I'm getting at. Right.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, whatever. I mean, we can talk about that. But
No. It's okay. Let's talk about real aliens for a
what
second.
do you...
Aliens always kind of terrified me when I was younger, but now they kind of fascinate me.
I feel the same in a way. There's a part of me that
I genuinely believe that one night, Brennan, we had somewhat of an alien experience.
I looked that up, actually.
What is it?
Now, you don't know how true it is, but I looked it up because I saw it again. The big circle we're talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about one night, me and Brennan, we got home from a shoot or something. He was driving us, and then we get out and we look up.
It was rather interesting.
It was rather interesting.
And I'll explain what because I Googled it. I'll explain what it says, but what it said it was. But what it was we saw the moon in the sky, like the full moon, and then it was almost like a giant nipple in a way.
Yeah,
because it was like
perfect circle.
Like right here. No, I'm not even joking. It's funny.
No, a perfect circle.
So you had the moon in the center, and then like a cloud formed a
broke.
perfect goddamn. a giant circle, like perfectly around the moon.
I thought what it was is a UFO was parked there, and he said goodbye. All the clouds.
Yeah, that was
left
our
a hole
first
in the
thought. We're like,
clouds.
that's
That's the logical conclusion.
What else could
happened?
it be?
Yeah.
Apparently, so I googled it because it happened again outside a couple weeks ago.
Another alien encounter?
Possibly.
Okay.
You never know. I mean, who knows? But anyway, so it said that it was like a special cloud that would when it passes in front of the moon. And the cloud has to do with storms are coming or it just stormed, and it's like a special cloud that when it goes in front of the moon, it makes a halo effect.
Ah, okay, I can kind of see that, but
not as cool. But what they don't tell you is the reason that storm was there was because the UFOs came and they
made
took all,
the storm. Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's, that's a different article though.
It's the truth, but it's not. It's half of it.
But besides that, what do you think about them? What are
As
your
in,
thoughts?
if they're real or not,
Just-
that I'm not really one to say. Honestly, it's kind of the same with ghosts and Bigfoot. People laugh at people who believe in Bigfoot. I don't. Why not? There are millions of creatures on Earth that we already know exist. What is the improbability of there being one that we don't know exists?
Not just that though, but there have been animals like the tiger or the gorilla that at one point thought were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
There's a giant monkey out there. Get
Yeah.
out of here. And then they saw it, and then it became like, okay, I guess we got to write this down.
I guess it's real.
Check that off. But see, so I could see that. And then also, it's not obviously, I don't know about the woods, but when they talk about how we've explored more of space than we've explored the ocean,
No, the ocean could have something in it too.
And then I believe, what is it called? Is it the Marianic Trench? Is it something like that? It's called.
It's like 7 miles deep, right?
They say, isn't it deeper than, they say it's deeper than the tallest point on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what's down there?
don't
UFOs,
know.
maybe.
We don't know. UFOs, maybe. Maybe, I always think, I love Godzilla. Godzilla's a sea monster. So you got to think there could just be, I'm not saying sea monsters, but, maybe those Kraken stories from long ago
I remember
had
when
some basis in truth.
when the recent Godzilla came out, one of the jokes that was being made was that, because he was walking in the ocean, and they were trying, or I think it was.
No, I know what
they were trying to figure out, how
Yeah,
long
what it
his
is
legs were.
there's a scene in the 2019 Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is not really the most well-liked Godzilla movie, where he does, there's a battleship in the sea, and then Godzilla, comes out the water, and it's like, okay, we get it. He's swimming at the top, but then he's, they cut to wide, and he's standing. And it's like, how's he standing?
Yeah, I saw
How's he,
seeing
is there
these-
a dirt mound?
I kept seeing these memes where it was him on stilts.
Yeah, exactly. And that movie, I don't think that movie's there are some people who really, really hate it. I don't think it's the worst ever, but it's not really that good.
What's interesting is it seems like because we have they have the CGI or the whatever it is that makes, you can make anything now and it looks fantastic, but it seems like they're afraid to really show it. Whereas
Yeah.
when they had what was clearly a puppet or a stuffed animal or a guy in a costume, they're
I know what you mean.
fucking full frame
you're right.
all night, all day.
And it's very interesting that you mentioned that. I wonder if it's something of budgetary or time constraints. It might be time constraints.
You're already spending almost $1
well,
billion
that's why it might
on
be
this
time
thing.
constraints as well.
Change the story, man. No one cares about these side characters.
I'm not going to defend that. That's a good movie either. So you're right.
I
I think it might also be down to CGI. It's now at a point, and I don't hate CGI. I'm not one of those guys who do. I don't think it doesn't make you cooler, smarter to hate on CGI.
I make you smarter if you don't know how to do CGI versus.
Well,
in the CGI field, you might be smarter.
yeah, maybe, I don't know. But I think that now we're at a point where CGI used to be used, even in the early 2000s, where it'd bring elements of a scene to life. Now entire scenes are generated in the computer. And that's got to take so much extra. That it's like what you say. Why don't we see all of it? Because maybe is it all just generated in the computer? Is it just cheaper to make it at night, make it darker, make it less visible?
That's
because you're not doing one element of a shot. Now you're just making the whole shot, and then at the end you're like, crap, this looks bad. We gotta.
That is one thing that drives me crazy is when any movie they're like, we got a fight scene. All right, turn the lights off. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they start going. That's what I loved about. I think it was in the 2015 Mad Max. Mm-hmm. That one, I loved it because when they were in the desert scene, they shot it at night, and it was blue. And it was, oh my God, I can fucking see what's happening.
They shot it at day.
Well,
during
yeah,
the
and then
day.
they just
Day to night it.
Day to night.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it
But
looked
not
really
like,
good.
Yeah. No, I think so too.
You know, and it it was unique, and it also let me know what was happening in the movie, which I enjoyed because that's why I came to see it.
Because you wanted to enjoy it. That's
'Cause
why
I-
you should
yeah.
want to go see any movie.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'd like to see what's happening on the screen, and then they cut to like a night scene, and you're like, well, I guess not.
You're like, well, I have a headache at the end of this movie now. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I couldn't see anything, but the surround sound was booming the whole time, so I was having an aneurysm.
The movie Hall Pass. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I saw
Hall
that.
Pass gave you a headache?
No, but what
Okay.
happened? Well, yeah, I guess I liked it the first time. Second time, I was like, why did I like this the first
Okay.
time? But when I saw Hall Pass in theater, I don't know. I don't think anything was happening. Like it wasn't storming or anything. But the power went out in the theater, but not completely went out. Just the screen went out, so it was just a sound. But it was at the scene where he's masturbating in his car.
Oh, no.
So it was just the audio of that. It was,
It's almost like, is this meant to happen?
I was like,
comedically done?
yeah, was this planned? Because this is the second time I had seen it, so I was like, I know.
Second time you've seen it in theaters?
Like, I don't want to talk
Okay.
about this. I didn't have a lot of things going on. What year was that? Like
2011, I think.
I didn't have a lot going
Yeah.
on in
I didn't even
2011.
see the movie, but
Yeah, I was a junior in 2011,
Okay.
so it was a miracle that I was like in another location that wasn't my house. I was just happy to be there.
that's why you went twice.
That's why I went
It
twice.
was an excuse to get out twice.
I was like, I need to
Yeah.
get out of this. You know, I think I was probably in a basement at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to get out of this basement. It feels like a tiny.
It's a
little-
prison.
It feels
Fucking prison.
when I went to Central because it's all cinder block walls. They're like, what's it like up there? I was like, it's like a colorful prison because they paint things at least.
Yeah.
So you know.
It's kind of like public school, too.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
just like that. You know, it's like I remember you almost like I'd scrape my watch if I was like if I was getting too close to the wall. I'm like, son of a bitch, now I can't tell time.
Yeah,
But-
they made those walls out of, I don't know, that special type of brick you never see
Cinder
anywhere
block.
else. But
I think
no.
It's not.
Well, it might be.
I think mine.
It might be.
I mean, I think it was painted. It was obviously painted though, because it was much like a much fatter.
It's probably cheaper.
They had like the.
That's probably why. Anything that
I tell you
happens 'cause it's cheaper.
who's probably one of the richest men in the world is whoever designed the carpet that they put in those places. Like it's like not one color. It's like every color, but it's not colorful.
You mean like the multicolor, like got bits of green and red and
Yeah,
brown, and
but
but like
green-
a base, like
yeah, but it's like but it's
like a
also
base gray,
yeah,
black.
Exactly. It's got nothing. You can't even get lost in. You can't even get distracted by it.
What if
You
it
know,
was
it's just
created
there.
so long ago that like, what if that's ancient? What if Jesus walked on that same carpet? I mean, like similar pattern.
He
you know,
was a
'cause they
carpenter,
had-
wasn't he?
Why would he?
What if Jesus designed that carpet?
I mean,
That's a good
carpenters
idea.
don't make the carpet though.
I will look at
That was a different type of.
We don't know
that's a
what
different type of career.
This was the first type of carpenter, though, so he could have just taken.
don't think
he
he
could.
was
He
the
could.
first
he
type of
might.
carpenter.
He might have taken the job literally. You know, he might have just like, I'm a carpenter and started sewing together fabrics, and he's like, this isn't what you do, and he's like, I'm very confused,
and then he
guys.
accidentally invented the
Maybe it was his
the
first day. On
same rug that we have in public school systems.
it was probably his
today.
first day on the job.
Okay.
You know, first day on the job, shows up. He's like, what are we doing? Oh, you're a carpenter? I know exactly what to do. Starts making a rug. Everyone's like, no, you build things. And he's like, that makes no sense. Okay, fine, but we'll do that. What am I going to do with all this? And they're like, nothing, Jesus, we'll take that. Meanwhile, he's like, oh my God, this is fucking brilliant. I'm going to use this everywhere. And now that carpet's everywhere.
What Sunday school did you go to? I'm very curious.
I honestly,
Who's the pastor?
I only remember.
I might have to talk with him.
I only remember being there. I
Oh.
don't. I don't remember
Blocked
any
memories.
Like I don't remember any information.
You got to watch this. There's this movie. It was made in 2015. It's called Spotlight. I think it'll really help you.
I
Okay.
watched that, and I just remember I turned it on, and then I blacked out, and I woke up. I was crying in the corner. But I don't know. I heard it won some awards, so it must be good though.
I saw it on a plane. It was all right. It was definitely one of those like.
I've never been on a plane.
It was definitely in one of those. I've only been on one, I think, once.
Okay,
once
let's
or twice.
chill. Let's
Yeah,
not
sorry.
not brag about it. I didn't know
I
we had a
know.
Rothschild in the
I'm
house.
bragging about my there and back flight.
What's it like to fly?
It's kind of like
What is it
driving,
like?
but
Tell me
in
what
the
it's like to
air.
defy gravity.
I'll tell you when I find out. I don't think they really defy gravity. They just
I mean, they're not. I mean, in a way,
yeah, I
in
guess,
a way,
in
I
a
get it.
way,
It's not
yeah.
anti-gravity,
Yeah.
But in a way, it's like, gravity's like, once I get my chance, you're hitting something.
I mean, the Wright brothers, when they went like 8 seconds off the ground, they were like, flight.
They're like, we got it.
We did it. Yeah, they're like, count it, write it down.
That's why Buzz Lightyear was so confident. He's like, no.
Yeah.
That was fly. He's like, no, that's falling with stuff. He's like, well, that's the Wright brothers.
No, that kind of was.
If Woody was around when the Wright brothers were inventing things, they would have just given up out of like him nagging and being an asshole. Well, I guess,
bet they did have people nag them. They're probably like, you're not meant to fly.
Oh, they definitely did.
They definitely had that.
They definitely did that. We spent like I think 3 years in school learning about how
3 years.
Yeah, like
Wow.
it was like it came up all the time.
You're right.
They always waste time.
Yeah,
with the,
instead of taking like the 4 years to each day bring up something new, most of the time it is just more detailed things from elementary school.
That's
again.
why I don't like everyone talking. Oh, we got to get these kids back in school. Got to get them back in school. Why? I just got out of that school. There's nothing going on in there. They're not learning anything. I could have graduated in 8th grade and just gone with that information and kept going and been fine. High school literally didn't teach me anything.
High school, I would have missed out on my broadcasting class, which I did enjoy. That was
I didn't even
a way for me every day to get in there and mess with cameras and stuff.
I didn't even do anything that helps me now.
Wow.
I know. It was like a complete waste of my
You should
time.
have just not gone to the public school.
I tried. I tried not to go. I tried very hard not to go. If I could have done online school, I would have. I wouldn't have done it, but I would have done it.
I know what you mean. You would have gotten the option to do it, not do any work.
Yeah.
But, still do it.
But I mean, like, I didn't do
From what
any
I can
work.
tell, I don't do online school, but now that everyone's on it, no one actually does work.
I mean, there wasn't much work in school anyway. All the work was just, at least in high school and middle school for me. Well, every time it was school, it was just me getting there. Once it was
kill
like,
time.
It was and then it was just like, because it was 7 hours a day. 7 or 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
I think it's like 8 hours of time, but for me it was like 7 hours, like 7 periods.
My high school,
class.
it was 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. So that's 35 to 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And they say I had 4 years, I have to get 22 credits. College, 1 week, I have 12 hours, that's 12 credits. I don't understand how this works, but they say they're preparing you for college.
The credit system I never understood. Like, I was never any good at math, and just like the whole credits, it never added up to me. I never gave weight to them. They're all whispering over there.
Let me ask you this, Horne. Where can people see this movie?
Oh, okay, yes.
This fantastic movie we've been talking about.
So
Let's lead this out.
Yeah, so let's, because we just talked about
When and where can the public see this? They must see it.
Well, right now the movie is not public online, but if you go on to Facebook and Instagram at Neutrals Film, we'll have all the news about it. And then we do, October 17th coming up, it will be made available to watch for free for like the weekend online. We'll have the link posted on the actual site, but it's at the All the Laughs Comedy Awards, which is a Georgia-based festival.
Oh, nice.
And we are also nominated for Best Overall Short Film. It's a comedy festival, and we're a dark comedy. And so we're nominated for the best one. Thank you. I hope we get it. Some of them, like when they tell you the nomination, you've already lost. Like they just give it to you as like a little pat on the back. But this one, we still got to figure out. But yeah, at the All the Laughs Comedy Awards on October 17th, that's our most up-and-coming festival ability to watch it. So yeah, that would be your next bet. And it'll be free. It's not a festival that you're going to have to pay for. You just have to RSVP and
Perfect.
log in that Saturday, I think.
Awesome. All right.
Give it a watch, yeah.
Well, check it out. Check out Neutrals. I highly recommend it. That was Booth Talk. I'm Brennan Bauer. See you next time.